A security analyst, Dr. Kwesi Enin, says there is the need to overhaul security at the airport in a bid to overcome the drug menace. Speaking on News Desk, Dr. Enin added Ghana cannot yet be described as a transit hub of drugs.
Or the reputational damage that narcotics does to a country, whether that is if you are perceived as either a transit or a destination country. That is one, because your international partners are suspicious, business is suspicious, the cost of doing business is terribly high, it undermines societal hierarchy. You know, so the reputational issues are quite serious. You asked very specifically about the possible security implications.
Yes, Doc.
You know, most people believe that when a country becomes either a transit or destination country, it may necessarily lead to insecurity. I don't think so. There are particular sociological and anthropological reasons why in most West African countries we are not seeing the violence that we've seen in Latin and South America. I don't think that type of violence will get here, because already we are seeing, you know, frameworks being developed and designed by those who are involved in this business to resolve their conflicts and their differences with respect to their market share, pricing, the quality of the narcotics that are coming in. That is one. The second aspect is when the security institutions themselves become compromised. That then makes the trade a major threat to state stability and also to societal stability. But that nevertheless should not push us to militarize the response to the narcotics trade. I think if you read not just in war, drugs, the state and society, the report that was issued in June by the by the West African Commission on Drugs, I think recommendation 2 makes it extremely clear that the history of militarizing the response to narcotics, and you see the physiology war on drugs, coined I think by the Nixon regime, has been in the United States. So that whilst we may be having institutional challenges in responding, you know, to the difficulties posed by the rapid transformation of the drugs trade, it nevertheless calls on us to strengthen those institutions. Let's take the bold decisions that we need to strengthen, to fund, to retrain, to retool, re-equip, and then reassess the people who work there. And I think when we do that, we'll be able to see some better results.
Would you say we are a transit country or we have become a destination country?
Both.
We are both.
Both. Because you see, if you gain a kilo of pure cocaine, about 10 to 15% of it will need to remain to oil the wheels of corruption, bribery, to allow what took place at the airport to take place. Okay, so a bit of it remains to be used. Secondly, is that for every consignment that comes in, some of it will naturally remain apart from the 10 to 15%. Okay, so now we are talking about 12.5 kilos. I think the real question that we should be asking, or the subsidiary question, relates to how much really came in, how much may have left undetected, and how much remains. How did it get in? And who were those who provided the underpinning network to facilitate the entry, storage, transportation, and eventual export from this country? So there are still quite some tough questions that we need to think about and that we need to seek to respond to.
Security-wise, what do you make of the politicization of this drug menace by the NDC and MPP?
No, your question is wrong. You see, the security implications of politicizing this are actually quite small. I think the question should be, where is the national interest?
All right.
In discussing narcotics or placing narcotics as one of the major threats to the survival of and our economic growth.
That was my conversation with Dr. Kwesi Enin earlier on this morning on our show, News Desk. I also spoke with David Agbe, Executive Director, Ghana Institute of Governance and Security, on the drug menace, its security implications and effects on Ghana's youth.
We are not seeing any pragmatic measures being taken by our leaders to ensure that reduce the incidence of drug menace in our country, and it's not good signal at all. We are just demonstrating to the international community that we are not ready to fight. We are not ready to calm down the perpetrators of those people. So it's quite unfortunate incident that we monitored in Parliament yesterday, where each of the political party leaders are just in each other without being seeing a common voice of coming together and ask to how best we will be able to resolve this matter. I mean, it's quite unfortunate that is the way I looked at it. I thought that Parliament should have come out with one voice and say that these incidents are becoming unbecoming, and so we need to be able to find out how best things could be resolved. But rather, they are doing as usual, policies of NDC and MPP. And so that is politics of equalization that we are experiencing in Ghana, and it does not strengthen our parliament as a body, as a parliament to be able to, be more responsible and be able to convince Ghanaians that that's the way we need to go. And so, I mean, we are not surprised, and that is where we are now. And Park Westindum will tell you that is why we are where we are. And so, it's not a good signal as far as our parliament and all these drug-related issues are concerned.
Ms. Agbe, there have been calls to station military officers at the airports to, do thorough checks to be able to curb the drug menace. Do you share in that view?
Yeah, could you take your question again?
There have been calls to station military officers at the airport to do thorough checking to be able to curb the drug menace. Do you share in that view?
Yes, I need that. As we see situations, happen, we believe narco people are not on top of the job, and so it's about time that we strive the narco as an institution and re-strategize and reorganize the whole sector, giving it a certain new image and a certain level of direction. We are not surprised that the president tries to dissolve the board, because the board is not giving a sense of direction as to the way narco people need to operate. So it is important that we try to retool the whole of narco people, and then I propose that military needs to take over. And in Ghana here, we do have much respect for the military as far as integrity and discipline is concerned. So I express that comment that we believe that the military will be able to, be able to arrest all those people who are the perpetrators of the drug-related issue. And every politician in this country is almost like afraid of the military. So if the military people come in, things will be able to normalize. They will be able to, cause an arrest of all those people.
Writer and Chief Executive Officer of GED Center, Nana Nyako Boateng, has called for a review in the current educational system in Ghana. The writer and editor of GED Center submitted the current system is killing the creative skills in students as it limits from thinking outside the box.
We have about 10 subjects we do in school, and there's no time to think, and our education has to be a lot more flexible and let children from kindergarten be creative and to build things, and let's not look like the uniforms that we take to school. Everybody has to think in a certain way, everybody has to act in a certain way. We are not adding any new things. We don't encourage people to create, and that's a huge problem. People and their children are not dancing in school anymore. They are not learning music anymore. They are not learning creative writing anymore. They are not writing. Nobody's creating. It's just a question of what is there. Put it in your head. Reproduce it when it's exam time. That is not education, really. You can teach a robot to do that.
The project manager of Inform Ghana, Nehemia Atiga, says the objective of the event is to encourage and empower the citizenry, especially the youth, to call on leadership to account to the people.
We want to get a much more informed citizenry. One, we also want to be able to improve advocacy for change, to have a better Ghana. So you're educating citizens, you're empowering them by ensuring that they can go to duty bearers and get them to commit the change. So going around the country is taking the conversations offline and online as well. These are the issues, these are the things happening in our communities, and then getting people to also come up with solutions.
Calls have been made from various quarters to reform and improve upon Ghana's governance system. And a member of the Coalition for Ghana's Independence Now, Teria Evans, made a strong case on how Ghana can improve upon her governance system.
To increase citizens' interest in local government participation is to make bills from Parliament, from these assemblies and MDAs available to the people down there. And we have people out there, the MPs must set up offices which is non-partisan, where every citizen in the constituency can go pick up a bill that they are discussing there, read it, and MPs do not have to vote on behalf of this bill. They're having a democratic.
Presentations were given by other bloggers, all of whom came out with new ways of fixing our current challenges instead of improving. Latifi.
We do apologize for the breaking sound there. Let's take a quick break here. When we come back, we have more news for you. Deputy Minister of Finance Mona Korte says government is making great progress in its discussions with the IMF on a bailout program. She says government has not delayed in any way and is on track in securing a program from the IMF.
IMF was here a couple of months ago to do the data gathering, so that process went well. A communique came out and you all saw that. They did say they would come back, and they did come back. So they've been here for the last 10 days or so, and we've been in negotiations and in discussion. It's not exhaustive yet, and they will give out another communique before they leave. Eventually, when we have agreed the terms of a potential program or a possible program, they will then take that to their board to review, because we are members of the IMF as a nation, Ghana. Therefore, we are entitled to seek assistance from them. And what we are looking at is a support for balance of payment and technical assistance. So they will take our requests and our negotiations with them to their board. And the board will give an approval, or otherwise most likely an approval, and then they will communicate that to us. Therefore, in terms of timing, that is not too much in our hands, and they will communicate the next steps forward, because we've done what we must do with them. So we should hear from them. But even as they are doing that, remember that we have our homegrown policies, which they reviewed during their Article 4 visit and saw it. And we are on track with that. We are on track, and this budget speaks to the transformation and even to the stabilization, and the fact that we are working towards bringing the economy back on track.
Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, Samson Asaki, is asking the Ghana Standards Authority to ensure the Export-Import Amendment Act 2000 is amended before they go ahead with the implementation of the Ghana Conformity Assessment Program, GCAP. He insists the law gives local inspection companies the mandate to do the conformity assessment on imports at the point of entry and not elsewhere, a purpose the GCAP defeats.
The Ghana Conformity Assessment Program, GCAP, to be introduced by the Ghana Standards Authority is to ensure the prevention of substandard and fake products on the Ghanaian market in order to protect the health and safety of consumers as well as the environment. For the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, although not against the safety of the goods consumed by Ghanaians, the Ghana Conformity Assessment Program, GCAP, must conform to the law.
Export and Import Amendment Act 2000. The Act itself is Act 503. They give the opportunity, the powers for the inspector to appoint inspection company. And that is, the mandate was for Ministry of Trade and Industry. And Ministry of Trade appointed destination inspections. Now we have 5 destination inspection companies in this country. Per that law, one of the mandates was that they were supposed to ensure quality, quantity, price, and other specifications of import goods are in conformity. What is SGS talking about? In fact, before we should go to that GCAP issue, we need a law. We need to amend this law. Before, from the day of the inception of this law, Ghana, as a country, we cannot do any inspections of our goods outside our borders unless the goods arrive in the country by the law. That's what the law says.
He argues that the GCAP will be costly for importers and exporters, and when implemented without thorough discussions and consultations, will lead to the loss of government revenues.
We cannot be throwing money into the guests like that. We cannot. They're important, they're a charitable organization. We cannot go there, afford to go there. Look, those days when they were doing pre-shipping inspection to do conformity or whatever, they were not doing inspection in the country. We were not paying 1% of the CIF. Today, because of we are not doing destination inspection, we are paying. So how can you go there and pay, come here and pay? In 2013, I think the country made 68 billion or so. I've forgotten the figure. If we had done that percentage they want to do, the 0.5, they were going to get $90 million. Those 2 companies would have gotten $90 million from the people of Ghana. And this money will only give it 20%. The rest goes to them. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make economical sense. Our youth, the current budget says that we cannot employ for the next how many years. But if this job will even be done in Ghana here, they will employ. When the Destination Inspection Company came to this country, didn't they employ Ghanaians, team youth? Why must we? So how many Ghanaians can they take to go and work in their labs? How many Ghanaians would they employ?
Samson Asaki meanwhile hinted the Trade and Industry Ministry has permitted the implementation of the GCAP on a pilot basis after deferring it for over a month. Abigail Adumakunchi for Joy News.